Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called food wasting. A few years ago I took a who cares kind of job during a mini recession. Just something fast-paced and fun while between gigs. I ended up managing a food stand at our local NHL arena. The team was small. Me, a stand lead, a head cashier, a cook, a runner, and a handful of cashiers. The company that ran concessions operated on the assumption that all employees were crooks. Blunt, but not entirely unjustified. Pocketing cash from beer sales was, unfortunately, not unheard of. I personally had to fire 2 cashiers after secret shoppers caught them skimming. To prevent theft, inventory was meticulously tracked. Every shift began and ended with a count of non-bulk items. Beer cups, popcorn bags, pizza trays, chip bags, etc. Bulk items like popcorn, draft beer and nacho cheese couldn't be inventoried, so anything left over at the end of the night was tossed. Sometimes those leftovers didn't quite make it to the bin. We are closed. These last 3 pizza slices are going in the trash. Anyone want one? Waste was still logged correctly, but better eaten than wasted, right? Then upper management got inspired. Someone up the chain decided that maybe we were hiding extra inventory, overcooking food and pocketing the difference. So they issued a new mandate. All food waste had to be boxed up and sent to the warehouse at the end of the night. So we complied. Exactly. Into the box went the waste. Leftover pizza slices, hot dogs, popcorn, all jumbled together in glorious greasy chaos. No one made an effort to package it nicely. There was always so much popcorn, like an edible packing peanut avalanche. The warehouse would get a box full of lukewarm pizza slices, buried in a sea of popcorn and congealed hot dogs. But hey, we followed the directive. At the next after-work beer night, all the Stanleys had the same reaction, insulted by the assumption, amused by the absurdity, and united in sending our garbage gifts to the warehouse. A couple months later, I had reason to chat with someone in the warehouse. I asked, "Hey, what do you do with all the food waste we sent down?" "We dump it. Straight into the dumpster. We're not going through that mess." No one down there ever opened the boxes. The warehouse staff had told management flat out, "We already have full-time jobs, and we are not adding dig through fermenting stadium food to the list." So I stopped sending it. Went back to binning waste at the stand like we used to. No one noticed. I spread the word. None of us said a word. Neither did the warehouse. And the suits? They never caught on. The next story is called Overtime. About 10 years ago, I worked at a mid-sized manufacturing company that did contract work for some major tech players. We were constantly juggling tight deadlines, and overtime was the norm, especially for my team. It wasn't mandatory, but it was well compensated, and honestly, I didn't mind. I was young, motivated, and proud to help the team meet goals. Then came Dan. Our longtime supervisor retired, and Dan was brought in to streamline operations. Classic new manager energy, talking big about efficiency and fresh starts. His first big idea was to end overtime, then said it made him look bad to upper management, as if he couldn't manage his team properly. So he called a meeting and told us, no more overtime unless it's pre-approved in writing. And spoiler, he had no intention of approving anything. We tried to warn him. We explained that without overtime, we couldn't meet the aggressive timelines clients expected. He waved it off. "Work smarter, not harder," he said. Fine, we did exactly what he asked. We clocked in, worked our 8 hours and clocked out. No early starts, no staying late, no Saturdays, no helping the next shift. We worked smarter and strictly within our scheduled time. At first, Dan was thrilled. He bragged in meetings about how he'd fixed the overtime problem. Then reality hit. Within 2 weeks, orders started backing up. Shipments got delayed. Clients started calling, angry, confused, and threatening to walk. Dan started staying late himself, trying to figure out what went wrong. But he had no clue how our day-to-day actually worked. About a month in, we missed a critical delivery for a major client. They almost pulled their contract. Dan panicked. Suddenly, he wanted us to work overtime again. Desperately. But by that point, morale was shot. A few team members left for better jobs. I stayed just long enough to watch the whole thing unravel. The cherry on top, corporate eventually traced the entire mess back to Dan's no overtime policy. He was let go about 6 months after he started. The third story is called Not Your Job. I used to work at a really busy sandwich shop. During the lunch rushes, I'd often jump on the register to help out, even though it technically wasn't part of my job. I just wanted to keep things moving and make life easier for the team. One day, during a particularly hectic shift, I made a small mistake on an order. Nothing major, but my manager decided to call me out for it, loudly and right in front of everyone. Never touch the registers again, they snapped. That's not your job. Well, okay then. Next lunch rush rolls around. The place is slammed. The line is out the door. People are getting visibly frustrated. And here's the manager, trying to handle all the orders solo, sweating bullets and clearly overwhelmed. And me? I was over by the condiment station, calmly restocking napkins and wiping tables like it was just another quiet afternoon, doing exactly what I was told. After a while, the manager gives me this look. Then, in a much different tone than last time, they ask, "Can you please help on the register?" I smiled and said, "Sure, just wanted to follow what you said." Then I jumped in and helped clear the lines. The last story is called 30 Minutes. I'm a paramedic, working semi-rural. Our shifts run 6 AM to 6 PM, and it's about an hour's drive to the nearest hospital. Like many crews, we had a long-standing gentleman's agreement to show up around 5:30 AM, so the night crew could hand over gear and go home on time. Especially important since we are legally limited to 14 hours of work if driving is involved. Go over that and you are off the road. No exceptions. If a job came in between 5:30 and 6, the incoming crew would usually take it and then claim the extra time as overtime. Totally standard. Nobody complained. It worked well for everyone, until management decided to fix it. One day we all get an email from the manager. Staff are not to begin work before 6 AM. No more early starts. It's causing too much overtime. Okay then. So every crew, over 30 of us, started turning up at exactly 6 AM. No earlier, not even a minute. What happened next? Well, surprise. Calls started dropping right before shift change. Night crews, no longer covered by earlier arrivals, had to take them. That meant running jobs right up to the end, or over it. And remember that 14-hour limit? Now management had to pay overtime and arrange transport for crews who breached their drive time cap and couldn't legally get back to base. Winter, our busiest time, made it even worse. Crews were regularly finishing late. Overtime bills ballooned. Logistics became a nightmare. 2 months later, after bleeding money, we got another email. You may resume the 5:30 AM arrival arrangement. We did. Order was restored. All it cost them was ignoring a system that worked and learning the hard way why it existed in the first place. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.